Rivalries don't come much fiercer than the one between Audi, BMW and Mercedes, and with the latter two releasing brilliant new versions of the 1 Series and A-Class fairly recently, Audi has got some ground to make up, and the car entrusted to do that is this new A3. Question is it up to the job? That's precisely what we're here to find out. But before we kick off, here's a quick reminder to subscribe to the CarGurus UK YouTube channel. And remember to click on the bell icon to turn on notifications so that you'll be instantly informed whenever a new video goes live. Audi's premium family hatchback looks reminiscent of the one it replaces, but with sharper, more angular detailing. This one is the sporty S-Line, and you get a bespoke front bumper, bigger air intakes, 18-inch alloy wheels and a subtle collection of S-Line badges. Size-wise, the A3 is virtually identical to its competitors, and nowhere is this more evident than in the boot. It measures 380 litres, which is exactly the same measurement as the BMW, and 10 litres more than you get in the Mercedes. The boot also has a useful square shape, and the low loading lip doesn't get in your way too much either. The rear seats split and fold, and they sit flush with the boot floor when they do, although the backrests do lie at a very slight angle. There's also very little to pick between the A3 and its rivals on interior space. If you've got somebody that's 6 foot tall sitting in the driver's seat, I'm not 6 foot tall, I'm 5'4½". However, you will find that there is enough knee room and enough headroom. If you're much taller than that, it might be a little too cramped. And width-wise, it is better to have 2 people in the back as opposed to 3, but that's the same of pretty much every car in this class. And if you've got very small children, then note car seats do take up quite a lot of space, so you may need to move these front seats forwards more so than you would prefer. The dashboard layout is pretty easy to find your way around. There are more buttons and switches than you find in a lot of modern cars, but they're all easy to find and use. All versions get the same basic advanced infotainment system too, which brings together a large 10.1-inch high-definition touchscreen and these cool digital dials. It's all fairly easy to use thanks to a logical user interface. Now, while the BMW has an alternative method to control it, we've got the rotary dial down here, and the Mercedes has a mousepad style touchpad, with the Audi it's the touchscreen or nothing, which can be a little distracting when driving. Getting comfy at the wheel is easy because there's plenty of adjustment in the steering wheel. You've got reach and you've got rake. And then this car has got electric seats. However, if it doesn't have electric seats, there's still plenty of adjustments. You can find a really comfortable driving position. Now, I could muck around with this all day. I'm not going to. I'm going to tell you now about how much storage this car's got. There's deep door pockets, 2 cup holders here, a little bit more storage there, and there's somewhere to store your mobile phone ahead of the gear selector. And if your phone's compatible and you've opted for the phone box system, then it will also wirelessly charge it. And then finally, there is a decent sized glove box. What might surprise you is the quality on show in the Audi. Traditionally, with previous generations, Audi has really led the way compared to its rivals by a country mile with its interiors. However, with this generation, while the ones that are high up are plush and dense and lustrous, if you look a little bit deeper and go down a bit lower, we've got some hard, scratchy plastic, and it feels a little bit brittle, which is quite a surprise coming from Audi. In fact, the BMW 1 Series is much more posh. Question is, can the Audi match the Beamer on the road? The car we've got here is the 35 TDI version, which means it's got a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel engine with 148 brake horsepower and 266 pound-foot of torque, and it gets from 0 to 62 miles per hour in 8.4 seconds according to the official stats. As well as being capable of a very decent turn of pace, this engine is really keen to pull even from low revs, and that gives it a flexibility that makes your progress feel really easy and eager. Even when you do find yourself needing to rev it harder, the engine stays impressively smooth and quiet, which contributes to a very civilized life. There's a bit of road noise to be heard at 70 miles per hour, but apart from that, the A3 is a very relaxed motorway cruiser. The ride is really relaxed too. I mean, there is a firm edge to the suspension, but bumps, potholes and ruts are dealt with effectively. And the payoff for that firmness is keen handling. It keeps body roll in check going around the corners, and there's plenty of grip. Plus the steering feels responsive and nicely weighted. Overall, the A3 doesn't feel quite as pointy or as alert as a 1 Series does, but it's really not far behind, and it's a good bit more comfortable. It should be noted that the S-Line version comes with a sport suspension, which is 15mm lower than the standard suspension that you get on the Technic or Sport models. And you can delete that as a no-cost option and go for the more forgiving standard suspension. And that's exactly what's been done on this car. We reckon that might be a very shrewd choice. We've not actually had a chance to try a proper S-Line car yet, but we don't think you'd want the ride to be much firmer than this. The previous generation Audi A3 was by some distance the best car in its class. Since then, BMW and Mercedes have released new versions of the 1 Series and A-Class respectively, and with much better cars. So it's a lot more difficult to stand out in this super competitive class. Happily, the A3 is as good to drive as ever, with an appealing blend of comfort, engagement and sophistication, and it certainly matches its rivals when it comes to technology, safety, practicality and luxury equipment. Some Audi A3 fans will be disappointed at the lesson in build quality and that it trails behind the 1 Series in that regard. However, it's still a very competitive and appealing car overall. Does a slight backward step in cabin quality mean that the Audi A3 isn't as appealing as it once was, or do you simply not care due to those striking looks and appealing image? Let us know in the comments below, and remember to subscribe to this channel and to give us a cheeky thumbs up if you like this video. And when it comes to choosing your next car, you can easily find great deals from top-rated dealers at cargurus.co.uk.